Okay, it's September. We're at Rogers Centre. It's a beautiful night. I'm Dave Langford at Sun Media. Mike Rutsey, baseball writer at Toronto Sun. Let's talk baseball. Now, let's start with what you just finished doing, and that's having a long chat with the Jays GM, Anthopoulos. What do you have to say? What's going on?
Well, Alex has a lot to say, and he's when he says that he's extremely wordy. We talked on a number of different topics. One that the fans might be happy with. He says that it's 100% that they're going to have an increased budget next year. He won't talk specifics, but the amount of money they spend will be going up. He talked about that certain players are set, and what the Jays are going to be looking for next year, they're going to be looking to add a couple of arms for their rotation. They're going to be looking for a left fielder. They're going to be looking for a second baseman, and they're going to be looking for probably a DH. So they got those areas to fill. And to take the team to the next level, you can't fill them all with the kids that have been filling in for the injured players like we've seen. He's going to have to go out and manufacture some trades or sign a free agent or two.
You we were talking before we got started, you talked about Lind. It doesn't look like he's totally secure in his position at first base.
Not at all, nor should he be. He had that great year in 2009, and ever since then, he's been a disappointment. He's had a couple of injuries, he's had a bad back, but the only thing I know about bad backs is when you get one, they never go away. They always sort of reoccur. He's not hitting for power. He's only got 9 doubles on the year, even though he's had reduced time because he was sent down to the minors and he had the injury. But he simply is not producing for what they thought they had at one time. He's under contract next year for $5 million, but Alex is saying that he really doesn't have a guaranteed spot. He's going to have to earn it, and unless he has a tremendous turnaround next spring, I can't see him being with this team.
Let's talk pitching a bit. I mean, everybody is interested, and the fans in particular, obviously. What is wrong with Romero? I've never seen a situation like this, and we've both been covering baseball or at baseball for a million years, including Eddie's in Florida. But anyway, Romero, nothing defined. I mean, usually somebody's hurt, or there's somebody said they're sending him all the way back with Roy Halladay all the way back to Single A. What's the scuttlebutt on Romero?
Well, if anybody had the answer, boy, they haven't found it in the Blue Jays. So they gave him 8 days off between starts. They think the latest theory is that they think he's just a little worn out. It's not like where he's got a pitching injury, where there's something wrong with his shoulder, something wrong with his elbow. They just think that maybe the 200-plus innings that he piled up and all the off-season work that he's done, that he's simply worn out a bit.
But his speed, is his pitching?
His speed has not come down. He's just not as sharp, and he's obviously, because he hasn't been as sharp and he's lost 12 consecutive games, his confidence is at a low. But we'll see what happens tonight. All they want him to do is to put a few solid games together to finish the year. I'm sure Ricky just wants a W desperately. But it is a real question mark. However, the fans shouldn't get too freaked out, because over in the Angels, C.J. Wilson was brought over from Texas. He went 11 games without winning a game. He's finally turned it around. So it's not unprecedented. It does happen.
It is unusual.
But it is unusual.
I think the one thing that everybody's been talking about, especially since the trip to Boston, is John Farrell. Was that addressed at the meeting earlier?
No, because it's going to play itself out. The people in Boston, the Boston media, are absolutely in love with the guy, and they seem to think that he will just slide over there.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion on Mike? Because I'm watching it, and he seems that if there's one expression I use in the baseball, there doesn't seem the fire in the belly when the game's on. He seems like a very bright, articulate. He seems like a gentleman. But that fire in the belly in the games, you don't see much of it.
I'm not a big fan of guys that are rant and rave, anyways. But he's I love them. He was I'm telling you, I covered him way back when you never did not talk to Billy. He was entertained. But John's a really studious guy, and he's an intelligent guy. I think he's in love with small ball, little too big. You wonder why he's bunting in this situation and that situation. He seems to handle a bullpen fine. He should. He was a pitching coach. But it's not like John Farrell doesn't have his faults.
Okay, I think we've addressed a lot of the Jays issues, and I think maybe we could do this again, Mike Rutsey, I'm David Langford, and talk baseball, the playoffs next time around.
Alrighty, take care.